Hello everyone. In this video we get to know the new Antioch Kingdom of Alba soul detachment. And compared to the normal new Antioch, the Kingdom of Alba has the same units, so no deviation, which is quite surprising to be honest. Rules wise, however, the subwarband is quite interesting because it's more like a heavy unit, let's say. So as the first rule we have the bagpipes, which is giving the same or technically the same bubble for negate fear keyword ignoring as the trench cleric. So if you have a musical instrument, technically you can have two bubble that's ignoring fear around your units, which is quite useful. The next rule is the brave, which is giving you +1 dice for the morale check rolls, and this makes your team already very good for surviving, let's say, the morale checks, as the leader gives one, and if you have the musical instrument, that gives you another one. So potentially you can have +3. The Celtic machine armor rule simply giving you the D6 bonus for the charge instead of the normal D3. So this makes your heavy armors or heavy machine armors very good and fast. The Claymore Smith is giving you the great sword for a cheaper price, so instead of 12 it's only costs 7 for you. The Cold Steel rule, however, is saying that the first time you buy any of the melee weapons it costs half ducat, and with that you can save some money when you equipping your warband for the first time with the melee weapons. And again, as first time means that if you buy the sword it's half priced, but if you lost it and you need to buy it again, it's not the first time you buy it, so it doesn't get half priced. The Doom Doom ammunitions is giving you access for the Doom Doom bullets for 5 ducat, and you can have 3 of them in your warband. The Highland Strength is giving your lieutenant and shock troopers the strong keyword for free, and this one is very nasty for making your warband not so pleasant to fight in melee. The lightly armored rule simply saying that your lieutenant and mechanized heavy infantry is the only one that can have either the reinforced armor or the machine armor. The melee focused is changing your heavy infantry bonus from ranged attack to melee attack, so the +1 is going for your melee attack. The rampant charge simply saying that your unit's ignoring the defended obstacle keyword. And the strange supply is limiting your automatic shotgun, grenade launcher, machine gun, sniper rifle and submachine gun to 1. So as for units, there is very little change on the data sheets, let's say. And as first, as I mentioned, the rule mentioned, the lieutenant and the shock trooper has the strong keyword. And this opens the option mostly for the shock troopers to run around with heavy weapons. Of course, your lieutenant can do it too, but your lieutenant can be maybe better with heavy ranged weapon also to soften up your opponent a little bit. But overall, this helps your team to be not so pleasant to fight against in melee. Overall, I would say. So probably you want to spam the great swords and great hammers or great maws. And the mechanized heavy infantry has the +1 bonus on the melee instead of the ranged. This again makes your heavy infantries way better in melee, so probably you're not going to give them the machine gun, for example. You can, but probably it's not worth it. As for BattleKit tables, as it's mentioned in the rule, the automatic shotgun, the grenade launcher, machine gun and sniper rifle is limited to 1, and the submachine gun, so you can't have that many of them, and it makes you more focused, I would say, in melee, but you can still buy ranged weapons, but it's a little bit limited in a different way compared to other warbands, so probably you need to think about some other combos. For melee weapons, as I mentioned, the greatsword is going to cost only 7 instead of 12, and what's funny about it, if you buy it for the first time it's actually just 4, because you take the half of it, which is 3.5, rounding up 4. So first one is cost as the same as a simple sword, and then it's costs 7. And the armor, the machine armor and reinforced armor only can be used by the lieutenant and mechanized heavy infantry. So everyone else is in standard armor only, or in case of combat engineer, the engineer body armor. And for machine armor, you just simply ignore the last part of the sentence, so you have the normal D6 for the charge bonus. The Doom Doom bullets giving the weapons the critical keyword, the weapons that doesn't have blast, fire, gas or shrapnel keyword. So it can be interesting, for example, on machine gun or automatic rifle, maybe submachine gun. It's really depending on which units you want to use it with, because I would say probably the melee units don't want this, so only your shooting units. And there is one special item for Alba detachment, which is the Lochaber axe, or how to pronounce it, for 20 ducat, which is not cheap. It's also heavy, so you can also use it on the lieutenant or shock trooper or even the mechanized heavy infantry. But it's giving +2 injury dice, block, critical keyword, and also cumbersome. So this can be an alternative for great sword or great hammer as a third option for melee weapon. As for campaign promotion, I would say, again, because of the cost, the main target or main candidate is the mechanized heavy infantry. And then as a secondary, I would say either the shock troopers or mercenaries, depending on how fast you can buy them. And I would say probably that's it. As overall about the warband, it's not as fast as the Erie Rangers or the Prussians, but they are more heavy weapon focused, so their melee hurts differently compared to the other two warband, and probably you want to capitalize on that because of that. And definitely the fact that you can have 3 mechanized heavy infantry compared to other warbands which can have only 1, it's going to be very tricky for them to get rid of your mechanized heavy infantry, so that's really important to promote them as fast as possible because of the price. And of course here you don't have any special extra rule for or ability for the trench cleric, but instead you can have another fear ignore bubble with the bagpipe. So this gives you a little bit different options, and you can go into melee more bravely compared to other warbands because they only have the cleric as a bubble ignore aura. So it's very interesting overall, but not as fast playing, I would say. So I think it's more similar in a way to the normal New Antioch in feeling, but still different compared to that, but definitely much different compared to the other sub-warbands of New Antioch. If you play Alba or played it and you have interesting or good loadouts for units, let us know, because personally I'm kind of having my cogs working in my brain to figure out what can be the best here. So it would be interesting to see some other idea from people. So please share. Thank you for watching the video, and see you in the next one. Thank you and bye bye.